So your school staff will be actually using this software. Okay. Now in school staff also probably you'll have admin, okay, and general staff. General staff. Okay. Now admin will have more responsibilities or more access so that they can give additional privileges or additional access to staff. Okay, staff is the one who actually performs the transactions or take a collector, bill collector. Probably he'll be responsible collecting the fees. Okay. In cloud, in Oracle Cloud, you have similar stuff. Okay, so you have implementation user and employee user. Now, implementation user is the one who actually implements, configures system. This
Pramod,
will take a
we will call these things as privilege.
no, no. So this is in terms of users I'm talking about. Okay. So implementation
Okay.
user is nothing but it's a consultant. Okay, just like the software
Mm,
developer, right? So he's a
mm,
consultant who is implementing the application based on the customer requirement. If the customer is looking for, they want to implement financials, they want to implement, let's say, inventory or procurement, right? So as a consultant, what you're going to do, you will be responsible to implement. Let's say if you are a SCM, then you'll be responsible to implement inventory and procurement. That is what you're going to do. Clear?
mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so you will be treated as implementation user. So you will get an account. Using that account, you start all your configurations. Employee user is the one who actually get into the applications and start doing the transactions in the system. Maybe let's say for example, a warehouse operator, okay, or sales manager, or financial manager, or production supervisor. These are the people who actually get into the account, get into the Oracle Cloud, and start doing the transactions in real time. Okay, so is it clear, Sripad and Rabita?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So implementation users and employee users. Okay. Now implementation user, for this user, you will not have an employee assigned. Whereas the employee user, you'll have both employee account as well as user account. Which means, let's say for example, now to log into applications, ideally what you need user account. To log into cloud, you need user account. But to perform certain transactions, you need you need to be an authorized person to perform a transaction. Maybe in case I want to move the material, so which means you should be an authorized person. Okay, that can be an employee. This employee will be created as a user code. That's how it works. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Ramita, is it clear?
Yeah, yeah, bro.
So this is how it works in cloud. So now there is a concept called as security console in cloud applications. Okay, now if you go to tools, there is something called a security console. Sorry, security console. Okay, security console. This will allow you to configure users and work on flows. Okay, so only the admin will have this security console. So in most of the projects, what happens, right? So one person will have the security console, and he'll start creating the users and user codes. But there might be a scenario where individual consultant will also have the security console. Yeah. Let's say, for example, if you're implementing inventory module, right? So you'll also given the security console so that you can start creating your users, or probably in case if they have to access some roles, then you can give it. But in production environment, what happens is there will be one admin who will be having security console, and he drives all the user account creation process. Is this clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, but because thing is that this is the access control, and not everyone will be given access in real time. Once the project is live, only individual or group of people, they will have authorized people will have the access to security console, and they'll do all the user accounts or updating the user account. Let's say for example, you have a user, okay, and he left the organization, so you inactivate employee and you inactivate the user.
So
So that
this all comes under the HR part, right?
that depends. That's what I'm telling you. In case if your company is implementing only these kind of models, not HCM, then probably you can handle this. But HCM, if they're implementing HCM, right? Employee creation process, user account is done by HCM.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Got
okay, now HCM team, what they'll do the moment they create an employee in Oracle, you can also create a user account automatically. That provision is there. Okay. Now, in case, let's say, for example, they're not implementing HCM, core HCM, basic HCM, right? Or if they're implementing only the indirect document, in that scenario, sometimes you have a scenario they will not have HCM. So, in that scenario, who will be responsible is the individual model owners will be responsible. Is this clear?
yes.
Okay, so that is the reason every consultant should be aware of security console, how to create the users, how to manage the users, how to create roles, or how to manage the roles.
Can we do one configurations for this for the security console?
Yeah, we are going to do this one. First, we want to understand the concept, then I'm going to show you what we do in security console. Okay.
Sure.
Now, when you click on tools, you see security console. Okay.
Okay.
This page will allow you to perform certain things in cloud applications. Okay. The first one is roles. The first one is roles. When I say roles, you can create roles, update roles, or view roles. It's like manage, basically create and manage roles, I can say. Okay. Now, as a general practice, we don't touch seeded roles. Let's say, for example, warehouse operator is a role. Okay, warehouse operator is a role. Okay, warehouse operator is a role. Just use this role, assign this role to the user, and start working on it. Don't make any changes to this role. In case if you want to update anything, create a new role by using the copy function. Is this clear? Don't make any changes to the standard ones. Instead, create a copy of the existing role, and you can delete, you can update whatever you want, okay, to the role. That's how you have to do it. Okay, this is how. So now I'll just show you one role. Now when you say a role is something that give access to perform certain activities in cloud. Role is something that will have that will allow you to perform certain things in the cloud applications. Now let's say warehouse of manager is made. Okay. Now if I click on this, I click on edit role. Okay. Now this will tell me what is the role name, what is my role code. Okay. So now as a practice, wherever you see the word role code, or anywhere you see a term code, don't use spaces. Okay. Let's say this is the name. Name is, let's say for example, warehouse manager. Your code. Don't use spaces. Wherever you see code in Oracle Cloud, it's always good practice to make sure you put underscore like this, or
Mm.
just put no space, because space is considered as a character. Is it clear? Space is considered as a character, and this will have an impact during integrations. Okay, so it's always a best practice in case if you are using the code, make sure you're putting underscore or no underscore. Just that don't put spaces. Is clear?
Impact, what it will impact? If there
You
is
in
a.
case if you have integrations, right? Probably
Mhm.
integrations, then you have an impact. Basically, that's what this because it has a underscore, right? So space is considered as a character. So it's always advisable that you use underscore. That's what they do. Okay.
Okay.
Now this role has certain things here. Function security. Okay. When you click on next, it shows function security. Under function security, you see something called as a privilege. What privilege will do is it will allow, this is what, it's like a menu, sub-menu in Oracle terminology, you can say. Okay. So what it will do, it will allow you to perform certain things. Let's say, for example, quantity. If you see here, view on and value. Okay, view order to cash flow. Okay, in case if you have these privileges, then you can work on certain things. Let me click on this filter. Manage on and quantity, which means this privilege will allow you to search or view on and quantity in the system. Is this clear? Now you have a role. Okay. Now let's say, for example, take an example. Warehouse manager. What this warehouse manager will do? View stock or check inventory stock and perform inventory transactions, which includes moving material from one location to another. Is this clear? So warehouse manager, what will do? He will view stock or check inventory stock or perform inventory transactions, which includes moving the material from one location to other location. Okay, or maybe counting. Okay, count items and receive goods or items. I'll just give you an example. What this person will do. This is clear. Or view all inventory transactions.
Okay.
Clear? So this particular role will give access to all this. Let's assume. Okay. Now, if you just create a role called as warehouse manager, it doesn't work. Basically, you have to tell the system that this particular role is going to do what. Okay. Now, in case if you give access to, let's say, view, then probably you only perform these many transactions. He'll only view stock. It doesn't have anything else. But if you are expecting this particular user to or role to give access to perform transactions, count and everything, then you add this privilege. That is what we are trying to do.
Okay.
Is it clear, Namita? Shukar?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. This part is straightforward. Okay. Now these are called as privileges, and these will allow you to perform these things in system. Any user, any user who has access to this warehouse manager role, they can perform what is available in the privileges. If they have all these privileges in the role, then anything that is applicable to this role, he will be able to do this. Is this clear?
Yeah. How can we delete these privileges?
That is what I'm telling you. Don't touch the seeded ones. Instead, create a new role by copying the existing one, and then you do whatever you want to do. Okay? Okay. See, again, the thing is that roles are a little complicated. When I say complicated, because when you just add one privilege, it actually give access to a lot of other things also in the system. And you should
Mhm.
know what is the specific privilege that you have to do. Probably my uh, I want to create a user, sorry, I want to create a role that will give access to only viewing stock, nothing else, because we have a warehouse operator clerk. His role is to check whether the stock is available or not. Apart from that, it doesn't do anything else. So what you are going to do, you are going to create a custom role, and you are going to give only a single privilege which will allow that specific user to access only stock. Nothing else. Clear? Is this clear?
Yeah, bro.
Okay. That's how it works. Okay.
The concept is clear. How do we create a custom
Right. So just give me a few minutes. Once this is done, I'm going to show you how to create a custom role. Okay. So let me just complete this part, Sripad, then I'm going to show you how to create. Again, security console is a huge topic. I'm going to talk about roles and users today. Then, in case if you have any questions, we can take it. Okay. So let's go through this role. Then I'm going to show you how to create a custom role and how to do this. Then you click on next. You have the security policies. Okay. Now let's say, for example, what are these security policies? Now let's take the same example. Let's take the same example. This is a warehouse manager. Now we have different warehouses. One is in Hyderabad, one is in Delhi, one is in Chennai. Person A, person B, person C. You have three different users. These are three. Okay. Now person A is in charge of Hyderabad, person B is in charge of Delhi, person C is in charge of Chennai. When person, so what you do, you create a user is equal to, let's say for example A, then role is equal to warehouse manager, warehouse manager. But what you want to do is, he should be able to access only location called as or warehouse A, Hyderabad. This is my requirement, correct? Which is a real time scenario where the authorized persons will access the authorized data based on the locations. If you're working in India, basically you'll have access to only India. If you're working in US, you'll have access to US. That's how it works, correct? Now this is a role, and requirement is, once this particular user login, he should be accessing only Hyderabad. Okay. Now, if you have user B, you should be able to access only Delhi. C, you should be able to access only Chennai. But there is a user, he is called as a plant manager or operations head. Let's assume he is the operations head. He should be having access to all locations, all our warehouses,
uh,
all warehouses, right? Now, how this is managed, how this is controlled, this is controlled by this data security policies. Okay, so what you're saying here you're saying that warehouse manager can manage, okay, let's take this. Warehouse manager can manage inventory transaction for the inventory origin for which they are authorized. Is this clear?
sorry.
Which means they can access only those data for which they have access. Okay. Now there is a concept called as data access. There is a concept called as data access. Okay. Let's take a real-time example how this works. Data access, role, and user. Okay, let's say for example there is a company and there is a IT department. In the IT department, you have IT manager. Okay, IT, yeah, architect. Correct. So you have IT manager, then you have IT admin, IT help desk. Okay. Now here you have Mike, Dave, sorry. There are three users. Mike, Dave, Ckick. Three different users are there, and they are in IT department, user, and department role. This is the role. Okay. Everyone is in IT department. Everyone is in IT department. Okay. Now you have one more user. He is also IT employee. Okay. Now, though all belong to IT department, based on the role or a position they are actually in the system or sorry in company, they'll be given certain access. IT manager can access everything, including server rooms. Is this clear? Is
Okay.
right. So you can access everything. You can access systems and server rooms. Every data he has control. Okay.
Mm.
But whereas Dave, he doesn't have access to server room, but he has access to systems. But whereas Kevin and James, no server rooms, no systems. Their role is only working on issues, supporting issues. This is clear. But everyone has the same role, or everyone is belongs to the same department. But based on the role, you'll be given access. Which means now you have an ID card. That ID card will allow them to get into the company. But unless that ID card access to server room, they cannot get into the server. It doesn't matter there is an employee or not. Though, let's say for example, Mike has an ID card, but in company he's an IT manager. But that ID card doesn't know he's a manager or not unless that ID card has an access called as server room. Is this clear, guys?
Yes.
As an employee, physically you can go, but the thing is that getting into a server room, you need an access. How do you know? How do you access? Basically using your ID card. Now that ID card, if it doesn't have the access to getting into that server room, then though you are IT manager, you cannot do that. This is called as data access in cloud application, which will allow what warehouses you can access, what locations you can access, what operating units you can access. Is this clear?
Yeah, Brahma.
That is how it works. First, you should have a role, then you should have a data access.
Data access.
Okay, role will tell you what you are going to do in the system, warehouse manager, and data access will give permissions to access
Where to?
which locations or what. This is how it goes hand by hand. You should have a valid role, and that role should have a valid privileges, and you should have a data access that will control what you can access. This is a tight security what here. Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? Sripada and Ramita.
Yeah,
Okay. Now here you have a users. This users screen will tell me who are all the users who have access to warehouse manager. This specific role. Clear? This when I click on users, it will tell me who are all the users who have access to this role warehouse manager. Now if you say this is the user and display. Okay. Click on next, and this is just a summary of whatever you have seen. Click on cancel. You don't have to say. Click on save and close. This is all about your users. Sorry, or specific role. Now, if you want to export this data, you can export it. So you have something called as export option here. Okay, your privileges and users. Let's say, for example, I want to know how many users are there, how many users are there who are having this users role, or probably how many privileges, sorry, how many, sorry, let me do it. Let me, how many users are there who are holding this user account, sorry, role. What I can do, I can click on users here and export to Excel. When I export to Excel, this identity will tell me all the users, all the users who are having this user, this specific role. See, these are all the users. These are all my role. This is a role name, role code. Is this clear? Okay. Now, in case if you want to export the privileges, you can just click on the roles. You can, export the privileges. Okay. This is how you can do this. Now, in case if you want to create a new custom role or create a new role, what you can do, you can, I mean, let's say you have a requirement where you want to create a new custom role, just like the warehouse manager, but you want to remove few privileges. What you can do, you click on this and click on copy role and click on copy top rows. Copy everything. That's what we are trying to do. Now here you can say call it as, for example, we can call it as anything. Let's say warehouse operator. I'll just give preference so that I know that this is a customer. In real world, in projects, what we do, we enter like this custom, so that we know that this is a customer. Is clear? Again, there are different ways how you have to create a customer. See, some companies, some projects, what they want to do is they want to make sure that when they create a customer, they want to have like excess inventory manager. Some companies they want to have XX, which means XX will denote this is a custom, not the CW. Or they want to have the company name. For example, in case if you have ABC Traders is the company for which you are implementing the project. So what they want, ABC Inventory Manager. So the first three letters will denote the company name, something like. Again, each project has their own way of creating. So you can call this a custom like this inventory name. There are different ways. See, it's just a naming convention how we want to define. It can be access inventory or AB client name inventory or just use the prefix custom inventory manager. Is it clear? Is it clear, Sripad and Ramita? Yeah. So, Sripad, you already created few custom roles in roles in EBS.
You, your voice is very what sometimes it gets loud, sometimes it's very feeble.
Okay. Am I clear now? Am I audible?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So,
Now it's
have you created custom roles in EBS?
No, no.
Or have you seen a custom role in EBS?
Since most of the in this like I have worked on support or a smaller investment kind of a thing. So that's the reason
Oh, no problem. Have you seen a custom role in EBS? That naming convention, how it is denoted? Is it XX or custom or how it is
uh,
created? What is the name?
yes, they mentioned it as, for example, in current organization, they have created as an based out of the region wise, like US, UK,
Ah,
CA,
same. That's what I'm
right?
telling. Right.
Yes.
Correct. It can be DC or custom or US based on the location. Also, you can say.
Right.
Okay. This is just a prefix. This is based on the client name, and here you have as prefix, or this can be based on the country or location. You can say. In case US inventory. UK inventory management. Correct. This is how it is defined in EBS.
Right.
Right. But again, this is not required based on the locations here, because anyways you are going to control based on the data access. So they create the custom, just the custom inventory manager, and you can give the access. That's how it works. Okay.
Hmm.
Now here you can just use custom warehouse. Make sure there are no spaces. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Now here you can enter what is that you want to do. Description basically. Give access, allow access to inventory transactions. Clear? See, again, this is the description. It's a free text. You can enter whatever you want to enter. Actually helps you to understand what is this role does. Okay. For next. Okay. Now let's say for example. So I'll just going to show you how to create it, but actually we have a separate, I'm going to create a separate role when we actually complete the inventory module, where I'm going to show you a custom role, how to create a
Mm.
custom role, where that user will have access to only view only inventory. It doesn't have access to anything else. That's how we do. Okay. For now, just think that in case if you want to create a custom role and delete something, you can. Okay, delete this. Or what you can do, you can create everything from scratch and just add only the privileges. That is also you can do. First one, what we are trying to do here is you're creating a
Yeah,
call.
that would be, I'm sorry, like that would be very helpful for me because I'm planning to start the fresh, right, as I told earlier, to hop onto the cloud side. So
Correct.
if we start from the fresh or
Correct, that is
latest,
what. Correct. So
it will
today what I'm going to do, I'm going to just show you the features of security console. But once we complete inventory module, I'm going to create one custom role. That custom role will give access to only view only, or just review completed transactions. I'm going to show you
Mhm.
how to create from scratch, so that
Got it.
you'll understand what privilege is being assigned to that user, to that customer.
Mhm.
In terms of the concept
Got
wise, this is the concept. But in real time scenario, we'll create one role, one custom role for inventory. Once we complete purchasing, we'll create one role for procurement, custom role. Then for order management, we'll create one custom role, so that you'll understand three different roles. How user, once user login, what he'll see in the screen. Okay.
it. Mhm.
Okay. So we'll do that. Okay. So I'm just going to show you usually how to create it. Click on next, next, same thing. And here, ideally, in case if you want to add any user, what you can do, you can just click on this plus sign and add here.
Okay.
That's it. You can add here, or you can add in the next screen also. Save close.
Mhm.
So what we did, we just created a custom role using a seeded one by using the copy functionality. But if you don't want to use this added seeded one also, what you can do, you can create everything from scratch also. That is also possible. Basically,
Okay.
you want to pick four or three privileges and you want to create it, you can do that one also. That can be also possible. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
Right. Now this screen, role screen, will allow you to access roles, create roles, manage roles. Apart from that, in case if you want to compare two different roles, you can still do this one. You can do this one. Let's say for example, I want to compare warehouse operator. Let's say my requirement is I want to see the difference between a warehouse operator and a warehouse manager, and click on compare. Now you can see the difference between two different roles. Okay, if you want, you can export this data. In case if you are looking, I want to export this data, you can still do so. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if you want to just see what is available in both the roles, rather than seeing the difference, in case if you want to see what is available in both the roles, it will tell me what are all what are the you know things that are available in both the roles. You can still do this, or only in the first role. If you want, you can just click on this. So which means these are all the you can call it as policies, privileges, what first role which is not available in warehouse manager, or only in second role. This will tell me what is available in second which is not available in first. This is how you can compare two different roles, and if you want, you can export this data also.
Got it.
All right. So this is how you can get the difference between two different roles. I click on open file. You can see everything like this.
Mhm.
Got it?
Yes.
So this will give you a clear idea or a picture, what is the difference between these two things. Okay. Now
All right.
there is something called as simulator. Okay. Now let's say for example, I go to the home page. When I go to the home page, I see a lot of icons here. See, these icons I am seeing supply chain planning. Okay. I see order management. All these roles, all these icons I'm seeing, but I want to understand how are these icons displayed and based on what roles. I don't remember those roles. Let's assume I don't
Mm.
know what is the role that I need to have to get this pricing administrator or order management, something like this. Okay, for that there is something called as simulate. You go to security console, search any role. It doesn't matter, you can search any role. I'll search, let's say for example, procurement. Just search any role. You don't have to be a specific one. You can search any role and click on this drop down or this icon and then click on simulate navigator. Simulate navigator. Now this will display a page with the heading called as simulate navigator. What this simulate navigator will do, it will it will help you to understand what roles, privileges that are required to access something in the system. Okay. Let's say for example, you have seen order management. Let's say order management you have seen. Clear? Now when I click on this order management, click on view grants. See this? If I have any of these roles, then I can access order management icon. That's what it is telling me. It can be, you know, let's take an example. Orchestration, order management, or probably, order entry specialist.
Okay.
Order entry specialist. In case if I have one of these roles, then I can see that icon. That is what it will give me the details.
Mm.
Pricing administrator. Not icon. Okay. But ideally it tells you that. Is this clear? Is this clear? Simulator protection. Let's say in case if you want to access work definition. Then you click on the view roles, then it will production supervisor or production operator will give me access to that icon. Clear? One is view roles that grant access. The second one is view privileges required for this one. Role will tell me, basically that role will tell me what role is required. But if you click on privileges which are granting, then it will tell you manage orders, privilege name. What is the privilege that you need? Task me. Is it clear?
Got it. Got it.
Is it clear? These are all the privileges that is required.
Hmm.
Clear?
Okay.
Is clear? So what we'll do, we'll create one custom role once we complete one module, and then you can see how it really works. Any questions?
No, no, as of now, I'm clear on this.
No questions?
No, there's no question from my side.
Okay. Right. So this is all about your roles. Okay. Again, let me click on this. Now this is in Excel format or a table format, but if you click on this, it shows in graph. Basically, it shows like this. It will tell me the privileged roles, predefined roles, and privileges,
Hmm.
and you can play around with this. See, if you move your mouse like this, it will tell me. It will tell what is a privilege, just like this.
Okay.
So if you just click on this map profile, if you want to increase the size, you can do this. If you want to search something, see, the moment I search something, right? I want to let's say let's use warehouse service. For warehouse, there are a lot of privileges. If I search for, see, view on and quantity. See this? The moment I search here quantity, it takes me to the page. View on and quantity. Or if I say inventory, see it takes me to the quantity. Basically,
Hmm.
so this is how it works in terms of users. Sorry, roles. Any questions here?
No, no.
Okay. So security console, to access security console, IT security manager. When I say IT security manager, to access security console, so that specific icon, whatever you're seeing, right? And the tools, this security console. In case if you want to access the security console, make sure you need IT security manager. Now this user, whatever I'm using like HDL. So don't worry about this screen now. I'm just trying to show you what uh, this user has. Okay, so
Can we copy this particular user account details and create a new one?
what is it?
can we create a new username and password by copying the existing one?
Existing one.
Yes. For
Uh,
example,
I
this
don't
HAL
think
and
it is
HAL is
possible. Duplicate. No, I don't think copy. Yes, copy user is there. So, what is your requirement? You want to create a new user using copy
I
function.
want to create a new user with the same privileges, with the same roles, everything. But username will be the different one.
Okay, so we will do that scenario. So when it comes to see, currently we're only in your roles. So here next day, tomorrow you have your users. So we'll do different scenarios: how to create a user, how to compare users, how to add roles, how to copy roles from other users to these users. But to answer your question, you are saying that you have a user, you want to create a new user account using this copy function. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh, Copy user. There is a copy functionality here. See,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a duplicate, creating a new user using this one. So which means any roles that this user has will be, will be
Given to
assigned
the
to
new user. Yes.
use you. But I've rarely seen this scenario. But again, it's a functionality or a feature which is available in case if you want to do this. Because your first name, last name, you have to enter everything. But it saves time because you have a lot of other roles that is available here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is all about your roles. Okay, so IT security manager will give you access to that security console. Okay,
Sure, sure.
okay. So I'll stop the session here, and tomorrow I'm going to cover users. Okay, so again, security
Got
console
it.
will go a little bit slow. Okay, so that we want to make sure you understand these users, we understand this user roles, and some functionalities which are ideally used in real time, which may not be displayed in the training, but at least in terms of concept, I'm going to talk about those features. Okay.
Mm, got it.
Okay. Thanks, Ramita. Thanks, Rikmat.
Thanks.